All right, we're live. Welcome back, everybody. Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as usual, I am. Oh, can you hear me? I feel like I'm very quiet. Is this using. Is this. Did I turn this down somehow? I don't hear myself on my. Here. Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me? Is this using the right mic? Bigfoot. Bigfoot. Hello. Hello. It's the wrong speakers. It's got the wrong, it's not sending to my headphones. That's wrong. That's funny. Okay, whatever. I guess I'm just not going to hear myself in the earbuds. That'll be fine. Look at my cute clip. I got a cute butterfly clip today. It's very pretty. Okay. Well, I'll just trust that you guys can hear me. All right. So, what do we got today? LA is on fire. The Hollywood part is mostly where the fire is, and the expensive, fancy part. We love that. Property damage is the worst thing happening with this fire. 5 people have passed away, unfortunately, but it is not by any means the most deadly fire that they've ever seen. It is perhaps the most expensive fire they've ever seen. There's already $20 billion worth of damages, but if property damage is the only thing happening here, I think we are very lucky. There's also a snowstorm, a brewing, and a cooking down in the south. Let's go ahead and turn on, let's go look at some of these headlines. I've got my second monitor up, so you might see me looking over there sometimes. Oh, I'm going to move my head over here so you don't have to look at that. Okay. So we've got lack of water is hampering LA fire battle. Why not use ocean water to fight the fires? Because there were actually some tankers. Look at that. You can see the plastic lawn chairs just melted from the heat of the fire there. There's several different fires burning, and they're basically wildfires that are happening inside of the city, which is why it's so hard for the firefighters to battle them, because they have municipal types of firefighting capabilities, and this is a wildfire. This is a pretty striking image of a house in the Palisades that burned out completely. People just using their little garden hoses to put out fires. This is like the Palisades is an area that's apparently very fancy, got lots of huge, expensive houses. The Eaton fire is in Altadena and Pasadena. That's a little bit less affluent, but not affluent. It's just like not like Ben Affleck lives there. Let's see. It's still more money than I have. Lots of stuff. I mean, PCH, that's an iconic highway, got rocked in Malibu, California. Let's see. Ash and remains of a stilt house destroyed by the Palisades fire in Malibu. More deaths are feared, but 5 deaths are confirmed. People ride scooters. All right. riding scooters. It's apocalyptic scenes out there. Really scary looking stuff. You can see that LA architecture burned out like that. Really crazy. I mean, the imagery coming from this stuff looks unreal. It looks like an absolute, like, apocalyptic scene. Very scary stuff. Very fashionable people. Oh, somebody's calling me. Oh, I don't have time to answer this right now. I'm sorry. The reason that we can't use ocean water to put out a wildfire is that it would kind of salt the land, salt the earth. It would make it kind of unusable. Hold on. I'm doing my YouTube show right now. Oh, I will. I'll update you. I will call you when I'm done with this. Oh, you're good. You're good. Bye. Okay. Many people, phone ringing off the hook because of the snow over here. Many people want to know, is it actually going to be that bad? And we'll get to that at the weather forecast portion of the night. Can't use salt water to put out the fires because it would poison the ecosystems that are not used to having salt in them. It would be bad. You'd have to remove the salt from it, and many people don't want to do that because it is more costly energy wise than simply, I don't know, getting other sources of water. One thing we could do is stop letting the Nestle Corporation bottle the groundwater. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. We have to sell the groundwater. Palisades and Eaton fires in Los Angeles can remain 0% contained. The blazes could become California's most costly ever. So here's an image of the Palisades fire from satellite imagery. Really scary stuff. This is reminding me of what we saw out of Grindavik when we saw those houses bursting into flames because of the lava. Photo of the day is terrifying. Altadena. Wow. Very scary stuff. I wanted to look at the article on the back, the last page though. Insured losses could top up to $20 billion, the most ever in California history. Wildfires are raging throughout Los Angeles. The problem is that LA butts up against these ecosystems that have not been maintained with indigenous fire practices for the past few hundred years that the current settlers have been settling there. And without a healthy, regular burn, the fuel builds up in the environment. There's just too much dead wood and scraps out in nature, and that stuff is really good tinder. It's really good for spreading wildfires. So if you don't regularly, ironically, if you don't regularly have fire, then you will get more but huge, destructive, uncontrollable fires. They're concerned about looting, apparently. Don't worry, guys. The LAPD is on it. They are ready to arrest people in the middle of a life or death situation. Don't worry. You can safely abandon your home because we're going to make sure the looters don't get it. Why is looting the priority right now? I don't know. Why did the LA fire department get defunded while the police department got increased funding? We don't know. I don't know. There's many fires there, though. The Hearst fire is another one. The Sunset fire is another one. There is one that's been contained. They're doing their best, I guess. But many people don't even have already struggled with an insurance crisis, which I didn't know about. Homeowners insurance is really, really expensive in California because it's just such a risk of wildfires to live there. Okay. Next, let's see. Oh, stunning drone footage shows thousands in LA. 293,000 evacuated as fires rage. Here's some drone footage showing just how bad the fires were. The only trees left standing are those ones that are really tall and can get those taproots down really deep and actually keep water in them. Just a great illustration of what's going on here. Looks really scary. That wildfire smoke is no joke. It's got not just regular combustible plant material stuff in it. It's also got the toxic fumes of everybody's homes and plastic lawn chairs and Tesla batteries and all that crap burning up too. So the wildfire smoke will affect everyone in the LA area, even if they are not at risk of immediate fire danger or being told to evacuate. Let's see. At least they don't have a volcano exploding. Here's some footage of the November 29th explosion of fuego in Volcán de Fuego in Guatemala. This is a beautiful, beautiful illustration of lava spilling down the side of that basaltic, that lava rock mound buildup. All the lava, all the volcanoes, when you get to climbing on top of their big black earth rock dome piles, big piles of black sand. It looks really badass, honestly. Okay. Now, the story that everybody has been calling and texting me about is the snowstorm that is currently set up over Texas and Arkansas that is coming overnight to parts of the deep south and southeast. This is what this storm at Winter Storm Cora, as the Weather Channel has coined it, is doing to Dallas, Texas. North Texas has already been dealing with the snow part of this. This is due to a cold front coming in from the west, meeting up with a good stream of moisture from the Gulf, setting up to create a nice, healthy snowstorm for the south. Now, the main damage area and the heaviest precipitation for this system is actually going to be focused a little further south and west of the Appalachians than where I am. The heaviest damage is going to be this band that stretches from Arkansas to central Tennessee and like touches the north of Mississippi and Alabama and Georgia. We're going to get snow all over the south. Some places will get freezing rain. Freezing rain is what's going on in the, let me go ahead and, and then after that, the Northeast is going to get this snow. Let's go ahead and go to look at our volcanoes so that we can get into the weather forecast. We're back down to saying 37 currently erupting volcanoes. Let's see. Our regular players added again. Eruption at the Ibu volcano this afternoon. Beautiful image of Mount Ibu erupting, shrouded in water clouds, putting off that pyroclastic cloud. Samiru, you can see some heavy, it's very hard to see, but below the volcano image there, you see some vertical motion. Small volcanic eruption from Sumeru volcano this morning. Doesn't look that exciting on the picture here, but you can see vertical motion indicated by that like cumulus shaped cloud that's right under the volcano. White Island volcano is putting off some ash. Nevado del Ruiz, same thing. Near frequent volcanion-sized eruptions take place from the cinder cone within the summit caldera at Mount Ibu. Sumeru had intermittent volcanion-type eruptions taking place from Zhongring Saloko crater by producing northerly dissipated gray ash plumes. Then Dukono is, or White Island is actually erupting. We're having an eruption there. Let's see. Popo had new volcanic ash emissions. We had frequent volcanic ash emissions from Santiaguito. Fuego, new ash emissions from Nevado del Ruiz, possible at Reventador. Okay. Now let's go to our earthquakes. So I'm going to go to this in the background. What did I want to put in the background? This. Okay, so currently what's going on, I'm going to actually put this on here so that that reflects the right thing. Okay. Volcanoes. So, or earthquakes. So right here, let's start in the Mediterranean because we've got three kind of equal distantly sized earthquakes of about the same magnitude dropped off right along the same latitude. Here in, let's see, that's on the Iran side. We had a 4.2 at 10 kilometers depth. Then we had a 4.1 here in coastal Syria. Let's see where this, oh no, Turkey. This is technically in Turkey. It is really close to the Syrian border. It's just like right over the Turkey-Syria border on the, right out in the ocean. It's, I mean, like, it's so close to the Syrian coastline, though. Then we've got a 4.2 out here in the middle of the Mediterranean, pretty close to Libya. This is being measured as off the coast of, let's see how far from Tripoli. This is about a few hundred kilometers from Tripoli in Libya. Let's see. Then the next, okay, we're still seeing earthquakes out of Ethiopia, where we have the East African Rift Zone. We got the 5.3 there at 0 kilometers depth being a pretty significant one. See, nothing else out of Iceland after we saw that 4.3 over there the other day. After we got the 6.1 off the coast of El Salvador, we got this 2 5.8s. This would be pretty close. Okay, one of them was actually onshore. We had one up here close to Ciudad Arce. Arque. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how you pronounce stuff in Spanish. Now, let's see. 5.8 there and a 5.8 there. The one onshore was the deeper. No, yeah, the one onshore was the deeper one, and the one offshore was the surface one. We had a 3.7 over here between the island of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. We also had a 3.9 just on the just northeast of Puerto Rico on the Caribbean Atlantic plate boundary. We've also got some quakes popping up in Oklahoma, as well as central Texas, southern Texas. Utah had a few. We had a few in Montana today as well. There was a 2.2 was our most recent one at a depth of 12 kilometers in Smith. That is in the Toyabe National Forest. Then there were actually some 2s and 3s. Here's a 2.9. Where's that? Isla Vista, California, off the coast of Santa Barbara, halfway between Santa Cruz Island and Isla Vista. Let's see. And we had 3.9 off the coast of California in the Juan de Fuca fracture zone. We had a cluster of higher level quakes, medium high magnitude. We had a 4.0 in Alaska today at 0 kilometers or 8 kilometers depth, along with just a few other earthquakes. 1.9, 2.2, and 2.8 over here in Hawaii. Over here near the Tonga Islands, halfway between Tonga and Makave, we had a 5.0 and, my thing is going to reload. 5.1 at 10 kilometers depth and a 5.0 at 10. We got, down here in the Antarctic, we had a 4.9 here on the Australian Antarctic border region. We also had a 5.3 halfway between Antarctica and South America at 0 kilometers depth. And we had a few clustered here between Australia and Indonesia, as well as a 4.7 here and a 5.5 here. Those were moderately deep at 156 kilometers depth. There was a 5.4 aftershocking into China at 0 kilometers depth here near one of the major rivers. Is this the Yangtze River? This is in Qinghai, China. Really close to Goringhu and Giaringhu. I guess Hu is the name for lake. We also here in Tibet had aftershocks of 5.0 and 4.4. If we go back a few days, we will see this is where that 7.0 was, with a lot of initial aftershocks. Actually, if you zoom out, you can see the side of that was starting the chain of 5s everywhere. Let's see. Let's go now to our atmosphere. Hello, everybody. They are burning evidence, direct energy weapons. It's not hard to set a wildfire in California. I don't know if they have to use directed energy weapons to set this fire. I think there was already a red flag warning. I'm not saying DEWs aren't real. I think they are. I think that this may not be an example of them, though. But what goes on in Hollywood, maybe they are burning some evidence. Who knows? Who knows? Doctors in the train Choo Choo, Dr. Leave Alone, creepy looking volcano smoke, 20 degrees Fahrenheit in southern Vermont, eruption, Van Halen. Any relation to the Hudson Canyon? No, I don't think so. I don't know where the Hudson's Canyon is. Where in Oklahoma? Right in the middle of the state. Vermont never gets earthquakes. Sometimes they do get earthquakes, very rarely. Not many. Reload up. Reload, yep, a Texas term. Texan bumper stickers saying, keep honking, I'm reloading. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's see. Okay, so this is the storm system on just reflectivity that we're looking at moving through the south. You see this latitude where the mesoscale discussion has been issued for freezing rain. That's around the parallel where we're going to expect the worst type of stuff. Looks like this is a storm that Greenville, South Carolina is going to get worse than Asheville, North Carolina. And here's why. As we move forward with this storm, it's going to eventually run out of its moisture pipe, especially as it gets to the mountain. And once it's cut it off from its moisture source, it can't rain as much anymore or snow as much anymore. Also, as we get adiabatic lift up the mountains, it creates a rain shadow effect where anything on the northeast side of the mountain from the approach of this storm is going to be receiving less precipitation than the southwest side. So Asheville is pretty well bordered on most sides by tall mountains, but especially when the angle of approach is like this, the angle of approach, that color's kind of hard to see. Let's do, right. Okay. When the angle of approach is this direction, then you see that we have to go over so many more mountains to get to Asheville than we did if it were coming from this direction or from this direction. The way that it is coming is going to intersect more mountains than we usually get before snow dumps on us. So I think Asheville's going to be relatively fine. Now, that is based on normal weather conditions and not being in the midst of repairing from a hurricane. Not just talking about Asheville, though. It looks like everywhere from Texarkana to Tupelo is going to get some nasty freezing rain accretion here. We've got winter weather in southern Arkansas looking really nasty. Now, if you're just in the snow part, you don't have as much to live, or you don't have as much to worry about. But here where there's lots of freezing rain, that's where it gets a little nasty. Why is this frozen? Hello? I'm not frozen for you guys, am I? My radar is frozen. Hudson Canyon's 100 miles offshore East Coast, where you put me the other night. I didn't put you there. You put you there. You gave me coordinates to look up, and I looked them up, and that's where it was. Okay. Let me see if I switch models. This is freezing on me right now. Go ahead and restart radar Omega. Maybe if I close some of these tabs too. Okay. Now, will you work? Okay. So we see the areas of wintry mix identified as the places where there's that real undefined area between heavy snow and freezing rain. The pink is the freezing rain or mixed precipitation type, and the blue is the snow. Areas where you are getting a lot of mixture of the precipitation types is where we have the highest risk for power outages and nasty weather. Because if you're just getting rain, that's fine. If you're just getting snow, that's also pretty fine. It will like stick to the tree and then eventually fall off. It'll land on the power line, but that pile can only get so high. When you get freezing rain or sleet or ice accreting onto things because it's freezing rain or sleet or grapple or something like that, that's when you run into problems. Ice, like in its frozen precipitation, can come in many shapes and sizes, and the ice kind, the more solid ice kind, not the dendritic ice kind, which is what we know as snow, is the more dangerous kind. The more closely packed the water molecules can get to each other, the heavier it is, and the stickier it is. Let's see if I can. It's like comparing a cup of flour heaped versus a cup of flour packed, or like a cup of brown sugar heaped versus packed in there. You get more, significantly more, when you pack it in there. And freezing rain and ice is like when you pack it into the measuring cup. Snow is like when you just heap it loosely into the cup and pour it in. Let's see. I want to go to let's go to a different model. Let's look at satellite, actually. And look at mid-level water vapor. So this will show where we've got enough water in the mid-levels to contribute to some decent snowstorms. This is where we are getting the bulk of our precipitation. You saw that green band stretch there, and I bet the next big band of nasty weather is going to be down here near Shreveport, Monroe, Lake Providence area. These two little bubbles of high moisture are contributing to that. There's also colder temperatures just on the north side. But you can see the source of this moisture is coming over the mountains in Mexico and into southern Texas. So that's why everywhere from Dallas to Shreveport are getting snow. This is a healthy amount of moisture for this storm system to create winter weather. Looking at the lower level water vapor, it looks more like a regular storm where we're probably experiencing higher humidities in the Gulf Coast region and some actual rainfall, even though it'll be cold. And then looking at our upper level water vapor shows another big spray and divergence aloft of water vapor. It's spreading and stretching up here, pulling up more stuff from the bottom. When you stretch and spread on the top, then you are sucking up content from the bottom. Let's see. That really peaked out there. Let's look at some models, because I want to look at the high intensity rapid refresh, or high resolution rapid refresh. I'm sorry. I don't know why I always say high intensity. Oh yeah, because it reminds me of high intensity interval training. This is the smallest scale resolution model that we run. And this model run isn't ready. Let's go to the 3Z model run. That'll show it. Okay, so this is where the storm is headed. We are headed to keep that freezing rain in this arc. Let's do pink here. Oh, that's not pink. Pink here. That's our freezing rain arc. And we're going to have some strong thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast associated with this. This will be similar to what we looked at the other night when we had all those tornadoes in the panhandle of Florida and coastal Alabama, Mississippi. And we're looking at higher snow totals in parts of Western North Carolina and, I mean, really all of Kentucky, up here and here. So this is what we're looking at. As you can see, the power outages have been really centralized right here, just north of Shreveport, on the North Texas, southwestern Little Rock border area. Let's see, what's our highest percentage? 27% of people out without power. We've got several thousand people without power. There's still some people here that haven't recovered from last weekend's power outages, from the snow that swept through just above the Mason-Dixon line last weekend. These folks here, under the mesoscale discussion about freezing rain, this has a good discussion of what's happening. Strong low-level warm air and moisture advection continues to overspread the lower Mississippi Valley as a pronounced mid-level trough approaches. Wintry mixed precipitation persists across portions of southern into central Arkansas, with several instances of freezing rain noted by surface observations. Surface temperatures hover around just below freezing mark on several locales, and this should continue into the overnight hours until the primary precipitation band clears the region. While some 925 to 850 millibar warming is expected within the strong low-level warm air advection regime, meaning it's gonna warm up in the area where warm air is moving into. What a shocker. Welt bulb temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius should support continued freezing rain tonight. So even though it's going to warm up in that mid-level, lower level area, it's still going to be freezing rain. A couple instances of 0.06 inches per 3 hours accretion rates may occur. That's not as bad as earlier today when they were looking at 1/10 of an inch per 3 hour accretion rates. Accretion is when you add up like the increasing of, that's the accruing of ice onto something. As we zoom in here, looking at the 3Z rapid refresh model, we can see that Asheville, Buncombe County is looking solidly in the snow region at first. When we go check out the GFS, they are going to show that we are expecting a changeover to freezing rain or mixed precipitation at some point tomorrow, maybe around 4 p.m. That'll be when that lower level warm air advects into the region. So you can see the temperature and the precip on this because the temperature is represented by the change in precipitation type. You can see that the band of barely freezing is the pink in the middle. Everything down here is going to get some decent, nasty weather. Is there going to be a chance for tornadoes tomorrow? I mean, I don't think so, but I wouldn't put it past a squall line like that with some warm air advection out front. It could be possible that there may be tornado watches issued. I don't know if the National Weather Service has issued a watch for watches or not. But really, it looks like southwestern North Carolina is going to be the nastiest situation here. They're going to start out by getting snow, then definitely get some freezing rain and ice on top of it, and then probably some snow on top of that. So when we get these like sandwiched layers of ice and snow, that can be really nasty for the road conditions as well as for packing on ice onto those tree limbs, power lines, things that would cause power outages. Let's go to the GFS. There's so much smoothing on this one. Oh, that's just because it's low resolution. Yeah. So let's look at 18. And then 21, 24. Okay. Looks like around 7 p.m. tomorrow is when things might start changing over to freezing rain or ice in the Asheville and Hendersonville area. But like just before that, it won't be that bad. It's going to be snow and then change over to freezing rain and then back to snow, and it'll be over before you know it. Charlotte looks like it's going to get in on the action. Everything in the Piedmont is looking very possible for a combination of snow and freezing rain. So much of North Carolina is going to be getting the kind of winter weather that they'd expect for winter weather. Even the coast looks like it might get some snow. Down here in Wilmington, between Myrtle Beach even has forecast some, there's some forecast for freezing rain everywhere between Atlanta, Columbia, and Myrtle Beach. Looks like a very definite possibility that people down in the coastline will see some snow or at least frozen precipitation. I've always wanted to see snow at the beach. I think that would be so pretty to see. It's a pipe dream, but it sounds really pretty. So that is where we're at. I think that some people are very worried here in Asheville about power outages, and I'm not saying they're not. It must be warmer there. You aren't wearing your toboggan. I am wearing overalls and sweatpants under the overalls and a sweater over the overalls. And I'm also wearing, or I also have like a blanket on, and the blanket has a space heater under it. So it's about like 40 or 50 degrees in the garage here. I said sticky. Ooh. Yeah, it's about 40 or 50 degrees in the garage here, but I'm pretty warm because I'm fired up about the weather. Uh, all right. Does anybody have any questions about the weather forecast or the winter weather? Because I know a lot of people were going to tune in tonight to ask me about it. Highlight looks very good right here. Looking chiseled. Okay, well, if there's no questions right now, I'm going to check back in a second. Actually, I'm going to make sure I put this on a second screen so that I can monitor the chat. Oh no, I want this to be this sized. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. It's weird tonight in Oklahoma. Cloudy sky. Oh, what else does that say? So light you can read a book. Oh, that's really cool. So that's probably from all of the that is really neat. That's very interesting. Let's see. Satellite imagery. Nothing showing up on the visible light, but geocolor. Okay, so you can see the cloud cover here. This is the same cloud mass across the entire winter storm. I'm not sure what part of Oklahoma you're in, but this cloud mass should have the same light conditions under it. It's a big, like, stratiform cloud at the base of it. Probably getting some decent city sky glow in there. This is one big blanket of clouds. I don't know if you usually get that type of cloud in Oklahoma. You might get more cumulus type clouds, but here you're probably seeing all the light bouncing around underneath it from Dallas to Tulsa. And snow on the ground does make the light propagate further. It's like makes things glowier because the light doesn't extinguish on surfaces that aren't reflective. There's so much reflective surface that it can bounce around a lot. Let's see. I thought it was the northern lights at first. Is there a term for that? Oh, my hair looks nice. Thank you. I have I'm gonna dye it again soon. Maybe even tomorrow. I haven't gotten around to it. I want to look at this. Let's look at this real quick. This is the derived motion winds product from the GOES East satellite. The GOES satellite, geostationary orbiting satellite, is Earth satellite, is some NASA product, but used by NOAA. Anyway, let's not get caught up in bureaucracy. Let's see. The yellow barbs are the low level winds. So this is the high that is moving offshore, and in its wake, the low can come in. As you can see, the winds move clockwise around a high. So they go from moving towards the southeast to moving towards the northwest, in this big circle over here. This is high pressure type of circulation that feeds all of this moisture from the Atlantic into the Caribbean and then around through the Atlantic again. just to curl up and like get caught. This is curling and turning and getting caught by the upper level motion, this jet streak right here, and this mid-level trough. So the mid-level is the cyan barbs. Those are troughing here kind of right above the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. You can see where it's hard to get exactly accurate derived winds everywhere because you can only derive the winds from seeing the motion of the clouds. So if it's not a cloud, you can't derive the winds from the satellite. But at the mid levels, we see this like troughing going on the backside of this cold front. There's also a low center of circulation going on down here near the Gulf Coast that is supporting all of this this entire snowstorm. At the upper levels, we see this big jet streak. It's almost a ridging. Here, we've got like a big old strong divergence aloft above Arkansas, moving from Texas to Kentucky. I think Kentucky's going to be getting a lot of snow out of this. I think Tennessee will probably get a lot of snow out of this, and probably much of the flatlands of North Carolina and South Carolina. It could be a snow in Atlanta situation. It could be snow in Montgomery or Huntsville, or not Montgomery, Huntsville, Alabama. It could be snow in Chattanooga. But I think that Asheville itself is probably in a good condition. It's probably set up well to be shielded from the bulk of the precipitation. Let's go to pivotal weather. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Pivotal weather. Yes, I have a heater. I have a space heater. And I also have a heater that's not electric if the power goes out. It thins out in Lawton, just where I be at. Wow. That's cool. You like my hair pink? Okay, I am going to add pink to it. Howdy, Kaylee. Is it smoky where you're at? Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing. Can you sense some wildfire smoke? I am a field weather producer northeast. Oh, really? Well, have me on your show. I would love to, produce some field weather experiences because I love to do that. I do love going out in the field. Never been to Vermont. I'd love. Okay, so current national weathers. We've got, oh my gosh, look at this. Great summary of what's going on here. So let's just move from left to right. Red flag warnings still in effect in Southern California. We've also got high wind warnings in effect for south of the red flag warnings. We've got freeze warnings and freeze watches in effect in southern Texas, deep South Texas near San Antonio, and also in Arizona. Southern Arizona was looking at a freeze warning. So that means it will freeze almost certainly. That's not a watch. We have winter weather advisories spanning from New Mexico to Pennsylvania. Pretty much everywhere in this area is looking at some sort of winter. Be on the lookout for some sort of winter weather. That includes the Rust Belt and the proper Midwest, the plains. That includes the Mid-South and the Deep South. The Deep South you're looking at, or at least the northern parts of the Deep South, you're looking at winter storm warnings as well. The winter storm warnings reach from North Texas to southern Indiana and Illinois to most of Kentucky, all the way over into Southern Virginia, most of North Carolina, and like half of upstate, all of upstate South Carolina, and, you know, upstate Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi. You're all getting in on the winter storm warning. And that is because of the freezing rain, the solid frozen precipitation, the that ice that accumulates is really the big threat. We have a coastal flood warning in effect as well. So we have some flooding, a flood warning for near the streams and creeks and riverbanks here in East Texas and parts of Louisiana. We've also got a wind advisory in coastal Louisiana, and we've got a coastal flood warning in effect for 4 counties in Louisiana and Texas. We've also got a freeze warning in effect for places that have only had a freeze watch in the previous week here in southern Georgia and coastal Georgia and northern Florida. So, also winter storm watch is in effect for that like really far northeastern part of North Carolina, like Elizabeth City, that kind of area. We've also got snow up in Montana, but that's a little bit more normal. This is the big story tonight, is this winter storm Cora. Everybody's very excited by that. Let's see. Will this get into Vermont? Not yet, but it will by the end of the storm's run. Let's take a look at the forecast. Let's look at Weather Prediction Center forecasts. Winter Storm Severity Index. Ooh, looks very severe here down in southern Arkansas. That's extreme. That is an extreme severity index. That is day 1, I believe, of this day 1 through 3. Day 2, tomorrow, we're looking at the worst being in the Carolinas and Virginias, as well as in Georgia. And day 3, things start to move more towards, well, we're still looking at a nasty situation in that belt between Charlotte and Atlanta. Yeah, so this is one of those Charlotte and Atlanta snowstorm type things. Let's watch our observed snowfall. In 24 hours, we're looking there. 48 hours, we're expecting snow in all these places. I think this is a little undershooting it. I think there's going to be snowfall accumulating in Tennessee between these 2 stretches. This kind of makes it look like anything under an inch isn't much, but like there is going to be more than that. In 72 hours. Oh, wait, this is observations. We're not on precipitation. We're not on forecasts. Let's go to forecasts. Snow in 48 hours. Yeah, that's our snow accumulation in 48 hours. 24 hours looks like that. Looking like areas of very, very high elevation counties in North Carolina are going to get up to 8 to 10 inches, maybe near 12 inches. Over in Cherokee, like Great Smoky Mountains National Park, that area, Jackson County, Swain County, that's probably where you're going to see the highest snowfall totals, is in those higher elevations of very far southwestern North Carolina. The big snowfall totals for Arkansas are also in the northern part because the southern part is getting that nasty freezing rain. As you can see, there's a little Asheville-sized hole in the middle of all the higher snowfall totals. That is because of the rain shadow effect that I was talking about. Ice, however, 24 hours, ice is going to accumulate severely. Anything like an inch of ice is terrible. Disastrous. Half an inch of ice is almost certain power outages, very nasty stuff. Even 0.25 inches of ice accumulation is like a quarter of an inch of ice can bring down very weak tree limbs. So anything in a vulnerable spot isn't great. Let's see. Our observed snowfall was what I was looking at. In the past 72 hours, we got a decent amount of snow in these areas: Vermont and New Hampshire, upstate New York, higher elevations of really all of West Virginia, as well as in Oklahoma and Texas. Jenny, do you have snow on the ground out in Lawton, Oklahoma? What's it look like there? Let me know. And Doctor, if you're in Vermont, what is the snowfall looking like there? I'm very curious what our snowfall totals are looking like. Currently, where I am, there's a dusting of snow on the ground where most of it isn't snowy, but in some places in the very shady parts where no sunlight ever reaches, there's little like outcroppings of snowy looking stuff. And the ground itself is very frozen. Like the mud is frozen, puddles are frozen. It's just very cold in general. Let's see what our temperatures say about that, because that's also painting the picture. It was bitter cold yesterday. Wind chill was like 4 degrees near me. Y'all are probably all very cold too. Kaylee, it looks like you're getting the best weather right now. Other than the fires over there, you don't have much going on, that's pretty nice, I bet. Do I have 0 viewers? Is nobody watching? Where'd you go? Where'd everybody go? I don't know why my stream ended and restarted. This is weird. Is it because I moved the browser from one thing to another? That doesn't make any sense of why it would restart it. I have no idea what happened here. Oh, well. Let's just continue on. I'm going to go to the solar weather. Solar weather. Yesterday we had 4 CMEs. Nothing that should have knocked out my computer. We had some elevated solar or auroral activity. We had some pretty fast solar wind. We peaked out at some higher hemispheric power today. We're very close to dipping into the moderate storm territory of the disturbance storm time index. We're looking at active geomagnetic conditions. A KP index of 4 was reached today. Nothing else really big out of the sun. The sunspot region 3947, the one that gave us X-class flares, has gone back down to a beta gamma type configuration rather than a beta gamma delta type configuration. Let's see. Yeah, not much else to say. Let's go to the planetary weather. Planetary weather looks like we've got Mercury officially ingressed into Capricorn, happily for many people who want to get shit done. Venus still sits at 7 degrees of Pisces, making the moon is applying to a square with Pisces Venus at 2 degrees of Gemini. The moon is in Gemini now, and we are very, very close to full moon. We're like one sign away from having a full moon. Looks like we've got a cradle formation in the sky with a T-square, which is something I have in my natal chart. So currently the vibes are challenging and supportive at the same time. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but things can be incredibly easy right now if you let them be, but they can also be incredibly hard if you would like that to be what's happening. Yeah. I don't really know why my chat is weird. I've been having some weird... My connection freaked. Was that a geomagnet? It's been in the high teens. Is that what it was last night? What was that last night? Oh, yeah. I don't know what happened to my computer last night. I tried to turn it on, and several different times it just didn't start Windows. I had to like reset it and try a bunch of different like safe boot and recovering computer options, and it just like never wanted to turn on. So I just let it do its thing. Maybe it wanted a night off or something. It's currently a Jupiter day and a Sun hour. I started broadcasting in a Mars hour, I believe. Mars is at 28 degrees of Cancer and retrograde. Jupiter is still in Gemini at 12 degrees, making a beautiful... is that... Oh no, that's not making a trine. The moon is making a trine to Pluto. The moon in Gemini is making a trine to Pluto in Aquarius. The sun in Capricorn is making a trine to Uranus and Taurus. Jupiter is only squaring Saturn in Pisces. So that's what's going on there. Let's... I'd like to go back to doing a little vibe reading for you guys. Yeah, it could have been the temperature. I don't know. You're the moon. I love that. You're a Gemini. I don't know what it was last night. It's possible that the temperature had something to do with it, but it wasn't that cold in here. It wasn't as different. It wasn't that different of a temperature and than it is now, and the computer's working fine. And also, usually a colder temperature is better for the performance. So I don't know. Okay, let's look at our vibes. I'm going to play the thingy. All right. So let's see. Starting off with the affirmation deck one. is the vibe today? What is the weather that is coming from the realms beyond and beneath the physical? What is the weather in the spheres that we currently do not measure scientifically or only measure in spiritual science? What's that weather that we're still learning how to observe? What's the lesson that wants to pop out of that sphere? We are all working toward the same goal, joy. It's got a beautiful crescent moon on it. I like this little illustration there. And it says, whether it seems like it or not, you are all working toward the same ultimate goal of joy. You are just approaching things in different ways, and all of it is working. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh. There we go. Okay. Now let's get something from the liminal space. That, of course, has a little rock friend that is ocean jasper. Ocean jasper is my little rock friend with liminal space. Same question for the liminal space. What is the current weather from the spheres which we currently don't understand to be part of the physical world, but may actually be part of the physical world? We're just not quite observant enough to notice. Ooh, got like 3 that jumped out. I'm going to ask that only 1 card come out for this particular reading, please. I know that's a lot to ask. You just gave me too many cards again. Okay, please just give me 1 card with this. Trash Magic. Trash Magic is a card I have drawn many times. It's got a hot glue gun on there. See, beautiful. Magic with a K. So Trash Magic has a great little interpretation. It says, your first introduction to magic was your imagination. Just make something. No more excuses. Very good interpretation there. And we are all working toward the same goal, joy. So make what you want to make. Make what brings you joy. We are all working towards that. Let's see what we've got from the tarot. And of course that has the labradorite, that flashy labby. Trash Magic, and we are all working toward the same goal. Joy is what we're asking about. Okay. What is the vibe weather? With one card, please. The Nine of Cups reversed. So Nine of Cups is very abundant, emotionally secure, overwhelmed. Reversed, we may be giving a lot of this away. We may be internal lack of emotional security. Perhaps there's a lack of feeling like we have an abundance of things. Maybe we're only seeing the trash in our magic and not the magic that we're actually creating, but there's so much more. Don't get discouraged just because you're working towards joy and you're not quite there yet. I mean, it will emerge in time. Yeah. The Nine of Cups reversed. That's a heavy card. It's unhappiness, misery, lack of fulfillment, the lack of that emotional security, materialism. Maybe you are obsessed with your trash magic. But it also could be inner happiness and not one that comes from the world around you. Maybe we're overindulging. The energy does have an overindulgence to it. Maybe we've been drinking too much. I mean, maybe we're, there's a lot of things this could be. Let's go ahead and, cool stone. Oh, cancel the crab. I'm a crab. Sorry. Mars is in Cancer. Don't lose your marbles. I have a yellow jasper. That's cool. Magic with a K. I don't know why that card is magic with a K, but many people have lots of opinions with magic with a CK or C or K. Got you to see the rocks I found, arrowheads and spearheads and tomahawks. That's cool. I would love to see those. Yeah, I don't know what the card deck maker's opinion was on how to spell magic, but I think it's something about it not being parlor tricks and being actual real magic that makes people want to spell it with a K. Yeah. I think the vibes are telling us to, yes, Kaylee, I think we have established that. Who knows what they're burning down there? Who knows what kinds of stories will go untold now that everything burned up in the Palisades? Let's try to stay grateful and positive and focus on the good things, focus on the abundance that we have rather than thinking it's an abundance of crap. Focus on the fact that you have an abundance of material to work with. If you ever feel overwhelmed by something, it's because you haven't figured out how to handle that abundance and you don't know what this is used for. If you think you have a bunch of glue sticks and that's crap, and you're not realizing what needs to be glued together. Maybe you have exactly the right amount of glue sticks. You're just not realizing that you need to be using them for it to be useful. Okay. I think that's going to be all for me tonight. I love you guys so very much. Thanks for coming back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. And I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, if I don't lose power. But I don't think I'm going to lose power. But who knows? Okay, I love you guys. Have a great evening. Bye.